Welcome, hello from Creative Memories. I am so excited to be here today to walk you through how to create these super fun easel cards made with our very popular Party Time collection. Let's dive in and I'll show you step by step. So to create your first card, what we're going to do is we're going to take the cut apart page and we're actually just going to cut this little section out, and that's going to be for the front of our card. So I'm just going to show you a few little tips and tricks for using your trimmer that you might find helpful. So there's a few different things. The first being that your trimmer has a little arrow. It's a white arrow on the inside right here, and that's going to show you exactly where the trimmer is going to cut. The other tool is this sight line, and this sight line has a black line through a clear casing, and it can slide up and down, and that will show you exactly where the blade is going to cut through. So I know I need to shimmy this just a teeny tiny bit, and then I'm going to be in the right spot to have this cut perfectly out, just like that. So then I'm going to go ahead and turn my page. When I'm along the top, there's another sight guide right here that I can pull out just to make sure again that I'm in the right spot, and then I can cut one more time just to cut it off of this green one. I think we're going to put space, and there we go, and it's perfectly cut out. So that's going to be the front of our card, and we'll just put that to the side until we're ready for it. For our card base, we're actually going to take a piece of cardstock that's going to measure 11 inches long by 4 1/4 inches wide. And before I get going, I'm actually going to pop out my scoring blade from the back where it stores, and I'm going to take my straight blade out. So I'm going to put my scoring cartridge right into the holder here, and now I'm going to score twice. So the first time is going to be at 2 3/4 inches. And then the next one is going to be at 5 1/2 inches. 5 1/2 inches on your trimmer is actually right at the end of your trimmer. So you can just line it right up here. If you prefer, you can pull out the arm and you'll see that the 5 1/2 inch tick is that black line that happens right at the edge right here. So that's where you can put that. We're going to score again. So you've got 2 score lines. These are for other cards, so I'm just going to put them to the side. So what you're going to do is go ahead and you're going to fold on your score lines and make some good creases. Just like that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to cut another piece of the blue cardstock to measure 4 1/4 inches wide by 5 1/2 inches long. So it's actually going to be the same size as your card front exactly. You're just going to apply adhesive on this bottom rectangle. So you don't want any adhesive above your score line. You just want it along the edge down here. And that's what's going to hold this rectangle in place. So just make sure that when you're lining it up, these bottom edges line up perfectly. And then bring it up to the top and make sure they line up as well. And then just adhere them down. So when it's all said and done, this top part is not connected, but the bottom part is perfectly sandwiched together. Then what we're going to do is we're going to decorate our card front. So like I said, we cut out this piece. I'm going to have it oriented this way. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to adhere it straight down to my card front. Just like that. And then I'm going to pull out a few embellishments from the Party Time embellishments pack that coordinate perfectly. So now that I've picked out the embellishments that I'm going to use, I'm going to go ahead and use some foam squares to adhere my cupcake to my cupcake. I'm just trying to make the illusion that there's a bit of a shadow to the back of the cupcake. So what I'm just doing is I'm just placing it to the top left and kind of keeping an equal border all the way around. Just something like that. And then when I adhere it down, I'm just going to make sure that my adhesive is only on the back of that cupcake that's on the back side, not on this one. Otherwise, it will adhere down on an angle. So I'm just going to adhere this down on the center of my card. And then I'm just going to take some of these fun stickers that come with the embellishment pack. And then I'm just going to take some of these circles and I'm going to go ahead and add them to my card front. Perfect, just like that. So this is going to be my card front, easy peasy. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do the inside of the card. So the inside of the card, we're going to have another embellishment. I'm going to pick out the blow out the candles embellishment, and I'm going to put foam squares on the back of this. And it's important that this step be done exactly like this. You don't want to adhere this straight down because this is what's going to be what holds up your easel card. So I'm being pretty generous with those foam squares. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my card so that the easel stands up, and then I'm going to adhere my blow out the candles embellishment near the bottom. And then when the recipient receives the card, it'll be something like this, where they can just kind of tuck that front part underneath for the card to stand up on its own. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add a few more of these fun little stickers to embellish. Just like that, and then our card is done. One last step you could do if you like is just to add a white square here so that you can write on it and see it a little bit more clearly. So let's do the next card. Okay, so for our second card, our first steps are going to be the exact same. So you're going to cut a piece of cardstock. This time I'm using navy to 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and you'll go ahead and you'll score at 2 3/4 inches, and then again at 5 1/2 inches. So those are the exact same starting steps as our first card. Now for this card, instead of adhering down a rectangle that is the same size as our card front, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch, we're actually going to make the pop-up element be an oval. So how we're going to do that is we're going to go ahead and take our custom cutting system, and this is the medium size oval. And then we're going to take some coordinating cardstock. So this is the navy cardstock, as well as some party time pattern paper, and we're going to cut it out using our blue and green blade. So we'll just turn these around in their casings. Perfect, just like that. And we're gonna start with the blue blade using the navy blue cardstock. So we'll go ahead and put our oval pattern right in the center. These two nibs are going to go in the outer track of our custom cutting system pattern. And then we're just going to put even pressure, and then we're going to go around the oval. And now we're going to use the green blade with this really fun pattern paper from Party Time. It looks like it's birthday candles. And then same thing, we're going to put these nibs into the outer circle of the medium pattern, the medium oval pattern. And then we're just going to cut all the way around, and you just need even pressure. And we're all set. Now, since we use the same pattern with just two different blades, what's going to happen is we're going to be able to take this and layer it on top, and it's going to have a perfect border all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere those to each other. like that and adhere them down. Now I've got a strip of cardstock. This is just that blue cardstock that we used for the first card. And this is just a 1-inch piece that was scrap that I had snipped off. So I'm just going to adhere that to the center. Oops. Just like this. And then I'm going to take my scissors, turn my cardstock around, and then I'm just going to use the edge of this oval as a guide for where to cut off that excess. And then I know that it's going to perfectly line up all the way around. Just like that. Next, I'm going to take an embellishment out of the embellishment pack that says "Time to Celebrate," and I'm going to go ahead and pop that up with foam squares. There we go. Now to add a little bit more interest, we're going to fill the top corner here with balloons that we're going to go ahead and punch out with coordinating paper out of the Time to Celebrate paper pack. So let's just punch out a whole bunch and then we'll see how we're going to use them. All right, now that we've got a whole bunch of different balloons punched out, let's go ahead and adhere them on the card. So I think we're going to use some foam squares just to add some interest. And I think we will start with these tiny polka dots. And then I'm just going to add my foam square beside it so that the foam squares don't overlap each other. I think that looks good. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to put these over to the side. We can use some of them to decorate the inside of the card as well. But I'm going to bring my card base down again. And just like before, we only want this adhered down from the bottom of the score line down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some adhesive right here to the bottom of my oval, and then I'm just going to add a line of adhesive under that score line instead of trying to guess where to put it on here. That's just an easier method for me. And then I'm just going to try and center it left and right as well as top and bottom, and then adhere it down. So just like our last card, we're going to take an embellishment from the embellishment pack and go ahead and add some foam squares. And then we'll go ahead and push up our card, and then wherever we kind of want the card to sit when it's open is where we're going to adhere this down. So this one's going to sit like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to embellish it a little bit. So I'm going to add a few more balloons, I think. And I'm putting foam squares on the balloons because I want them to pop up to the same height as this embellishment here. just like that. Now, because this cardstock is so dark, I do recommend putting in a white piece of cardstock here so that you can do your writing super easily. And that's that. I hope you enjoyed making your easel cards.